Mr. Chair, Ranking Member Cruz, and distinguished members of this committee. It's an absolute honor for me to be here. I am Rick Raemisch. I'm the Executive Director of the Colorado Department of Corrections. I was appointed by Governor John Hickenlooper to fill the vacancy left by the former Executive Director, Tom Clements, who was assassinated in March of last year. In horrific irony, Mr. Clements was assassinated by an individual who had spent several years in administrative segregation and was released directly from segregation into the community, which is an absolute recipe for disaster. The other irony involved here is that Mr. Clements had dedicated his short time at the Colorado Department of Corrections on reducing the large number of individuals in the system that were in segregation. In fact, Colorado, if not the lead percentage-wise, was one of the leaders, unfortunately, of incarcerating people in administrative segregation. I was picked by Governor Hickenlooper because I had the same vision in Wisconsin, was able to do some things there. This gives me an opportunity to continue that vision. And having spent some time in administrative segregation myself recently, it just reinforced some of my feelings about it, and these are my feelings. And I'll summarize it very quickly. In my mind, of over 30 years in the criminal justice system, that administrative segregation is overused, misused, and abused. And what I feel is that we are failing in this particular area in our mission. And our mission really isn't about running more efficient institutions, although that's certainly something that we want to do, that's something we need to do, but that's not our primary mission. 97% of all of our inmates return back to the community. And out of those 97%, some of them have been in administrative segregation, and our duty and our primary mission is very simple: make a safer community. And the way we make it a safer community is by having no new victims. And the way we have no new victims is by ensuring that the people that we send back into the community are prepared and dedicated to being law-abiding citizens instead of returning in a worse condition than they came in. And that's where I feel we're failing. Some of the things we've done in Colorado, I was charged by the governor with three tasks. Eliminate or reduce the number of major mentally ill in our administrative segregation area. And what we were able to do last spring, as an example, we had 50 that were in admin seg. This January, there were 4. The second challenge by Governor Hickenlooper was to eliminate or drastically reduce those released directly from segregation into the street. And I might ask anybody in this audience to stand up if they feel like they would like to live next to someone that's been released directly from segregation into the street, and I'm pretty sure people are going to stay in their chairs. What we were able to do, in 2012, we released 140 directly into the street. In 2014, we released 2 so far. And the other area I was challenged by the governor was take a look at everyone else in administrative segregation and see if you can determine that the numbers of those that should be released, and we've done that. That was started by Executive Director Clements, has been continued by me. In January of 2011, we had 1,451 in admin seg, as it's called. In January of 2014, we had 597. In a sense, I don't feel I'm replacing Mr. Clements. I feel I'm fulfilling his vision. That's what we're doing in Colorado. I believe that nobody should be released directly to the community, and some of the things that we're doing are some that all can be doing. I don't disagree with anything Mr. Samuel said. I respect him. I've known him for quite some time. Working with the Association of the State Correctional Administrators Association, we've done a lot of work in best practices. But let me throw some things out there as I quickly end, as I'm running out of time. For some reason, we seem to think that for admin seg, someone's in a cell 23 hours a day. Who defines that? There's probably some obscure court case that mandates that's what happened. Why isn't it 22 hours a day? How about 20 hours a day? How about 18 hours a day, or they start at 23 and work their way down to 10? That's one thing we're going to be doing. It's been automatic for the most part that someone on death row is going to stay in administrative segregation until they're put to death. And as we know, a person spends many years, and some are found innocent and released. And we're going to be changing our policy on that and giving them the opportunity to get outside of their cells. Where we're going to end up in Colorado is that only the extreme violent, and that's a small handful about all that we're talking about, are going to be those that remain in administrative segregation. But even them, that doesn't mean we give up on them. It means we continue to find a solution for these problems, because as I sat in that cell for over 20 hours, my response was, this isn't a way to treat an American. It's not a way that the state should be treating someone. It's not a way this nation should be treating someone. And internationally, it's not a way to be treating someone. This is receiving the right amount of attention now at the right time, and I think it's time we move this forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Raemisch.